never would have thought that as a mother, I would experience depression. Becoming a mom was something I looked forward to my whole entire life. I did love being a mom, but there were a lot of parts of it that I didn't love. My name's Corrine Stokoe, and my husband and I have been married for 13 years, and we have 5 kids. With my first baby, I had postpartum depression, but it was more mild, and my doctor gave me some medication, and I hated it. I wasn't sad anymore, but I wasn't happy either. I just felt numb. And then after 5 or 6 months, it went away. With my second and third baby, it was more like baby blues, and I moved through it a lot quicker. And then with my fourth baby, postpartum depression just totally overtook me.
Guys, here he is. Baby Harry. He's such a sweet little good baby.
I had a lot of misconceptions about mental health in general. I think I really thought that depression was for a really sad event, or for people who are lazy, or for someone who just didn't have enough drive to get up and do something productive. I mean, that was almost a slap in the face when it happened to me, and I couldn't control it. It felt like I had no energy. It felt like I couldn't get out of bed, that I dreaded having to do anything that required me to get up and out of bed. I'm like the person that can do 15 things in the amount of time that a normal person does too. That's just who I am. Not only is it not like me to not get out of bed, it is the opposite of me. I remember having these scary thoughts that I might drop the baby and that he would die. That filled me with dread all the time. I slept a lot. I watched TV a lot. A lot of times I just didn't get dressed for the day, or I would just wear the same clothes that I went to sleep in. It was just the thought that somebody needed something from me would make me want to just go back to sleep and not exist. And it became like a hiding place for me. At the time, my husband was grieving the loss of his brother. I don't think he knew how to help me. I always kind of had this ideal of if one person's down in the marriage, the other person's automatically going to rise. And that was not the case for us. It was I went down and he went down with me. Neither of us were at our best. The beach was one place where it felt like I came alive again, like a place where I could really feel God's love. It was hard for me to get down there. It was so scary to leave my house. But when I would push myself to get out the door and be there and feeling alive, like a person again, helped me to feel God's love. That was really hard for me to feel at all. One of the things that made the biggest difference during that year of my life was having one friend who understood. And that one friend was Amy. What Amy understood that most people don't understand is that when you reach out to someone who's going through a severe mental health struggle, you don't just do it once. And she knew to not give up on me. She got me out of my house and she kind of forced me, let's put on your shoes, let's go for a walk. And she was able to hear how I was feeling and understand. And that was the most powerful thing I think she did for me. Hi, my name's Corrine, and I am a blogger and a podcaster and a mom of 5, and you are listening to Mint Arrow Messages. We started this podcast 5 years ago, and it is all about meaningful messages from principled people. I think one thing that I really felt a lot of shame about was that for some reason, and maybe this was a blessing, I could show up for work. I could get up and whatever we needed to do that day, I would get that done, and then I had nothing left. And I felt a lot of shame about, if I can do this for work, why can't I do it for my kids? Why can't I do it for my husband? It definitely snowballed and got worse and worse. My husband started asking me about a weekend, like, I think you need to call your doctor. I think you need to get some help. And I resisted that so hard, mainly because that first time around, I hated the medication. I hated the treatment. I just was like, I can push through this. I've done it with the last couple babies. I think I was in denial of how bad it was. And then I think as it got worse and worse, there was a point where I felt like this is scary and I need to ask for help. I finally called my doctor and just said, I'm not doing well at all mentally. I need help. I started taking medication and it didn't make me feel better, but I was trying to just follow the doctor's orders. I told her at my 6-week appointment, it's not helping me that much. So she just prescribed more. And then I just kept taking it and I just kept getting worse. And I had a fight with my husband. What normally would have just upset me a little bit just sent me into a feeling of just so much darkness, sadness, crying uncontrollably and hiding in my closet. And then just starting to think really dark, scary, suicidal thoughts. My whole body, everything was shutting down and everything felt like it was collapsing in on me. I just was having severe, super overwhelming thoughts of like, how do I make it stop? How do I make it go away? I need this to end now. And yet there was like this little glimmer of God or the spirit or whatever you want to call it that was like, these thoughts are not your own and you need help. But it was just enough for me to think, I know what to do and I know that I shouldn't sit in this alone. So I texted 2 of my closest friends, Amy and Jessica, and I just said, I am not okay and I need help. They came running. They didn't hesitate. And I really feel like they saved my life that day. And they came up and found me on my closet floor and they just sat with me and talked to me. Jessica comes from a family where her dad works in mental health. And she said, Corrine, your OB is not the person to help you through this. We've got to get you with a psychiatrist. I didn't even think about a psychiatrist. I didn't even think that there was another avenue of a professional who specializes in mental health. I was so grateful that I was able to meet with a psychiatrist who could help me very slowly and safely come off the original medication, but also help me identify a medication that would help me. When I finally did feel like myself and not just happy, but I had the energy to do things and the drive, and I was excited about the things that I used to be excited about, that was a really good indicator to me that like, okay, we've finally gotten somewhere. Little things came back before big things. Just waking up, feeling like I wanted to get dressed and I wanted to get ready, that became a joy again instead of something that I dreaded. And then just hobbies, cooking, baking, playing the piano, feeling up to doing things that I didn't have to do was like a luxury. Being present in my marriage and being present with my children and being able to be around friends, all of those things too felt like a luxury when they came back. Those things are something that I don't take for granted anymore because I didn't have it for a long time. So having it back means more than it ever did before I ever lost it. You did great. Perfect hand position, you two. Both of you. Good job. The beach is my happy place. And it's such a good place for me to go and connect with God. It's a place where I feel joy and happiness with my kids. I don't know, I just feel like it brings the best out in all of us. I would want someone struggling with postpartum depression to know that it's not going to last forever. Today is not forever. There's not something wrong with you. There's something that's not quite right in your brain. So I think hearing other women's stories can help you to feel like, oh, this isn't so weird. I'm not failing as a mom because she went through that too. All of our stories are different. Nobody's experience is exactly like another person's, but I think there's always an opportunity to get better. that you'll never be that same person. You'll be better because of the hard things that you have to get through.